What about the demographic groups that she's still doing well with? Does that pretty much track with the polling before the election?
Yeah, and I don't want to, split too many hairs here.
Mhm.
I think she's still popular among women. She's still popular with generally younger folks, but I think that all changes heading into 2028. I think the map is going to change, and I think that her core constituencies aren't necessarily going to stick by her if she decides to.
Someone else who made the list that was below that 3% that you mentioned was Michelle Obama polling at 2%. Do you think the low number for her shows that people finally believe she's not running, or that says something about the Obama brand kind of diminishing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think people have maybe taken it to heart at this point that Michelle Obama is not interested in running for president. And I think that also, she has not been necessarily in the news lately. She hasn't run for president ever. She hasn't even named herself as a candidate for any sort of elected office in the past 10 years. So, I wouldn't read too much into that. I think, she still has very high favorability the last time we tested it, and other polls have tested her favorability, and she has high name ID. So, I think that she would probably be a front runner if she walked into the Democratic primaries and caucuses. But that's just not necessarily the first person that folks think of.
Mhm. I'm wondering what you think of the 4% who said they would vote for someone else, which beats most of the people on the list. Could this be someone more far to the left, like a Ro Khanna, or more to the center, like a John Fetterman? What are your thoughts there?
Well, so that's someone else. That can include folks that people actually did name, but that didn't quite make the, 1% cut. So there's a broad range of folks in there. Mark Cuban is one of the names that's floated in that someone else category. And then there are also folks who just say anybody but, the regular politicians. There are a number of colorful responses that come through when you ask people to tell you in their own words, what they want to see. And so we saw a lot of colorful responses. We don't necessarily include them in the top line numbers if they don't hit that sort of 1% mark at least. But yeah, it runs the gamut. There's a lot of different folks included in the someone else category.
Yeah, I know we're only 3 weeks out from the election in 2024, but what should we be keeping an eye on as it pertains to the nominee in 2028?
Great question. I mean, the campaigns really are going to start soon. Even if they're not announced, even if we still have midterms to get through in 2026, there are still folks who are thinking about running for president, uh, folks who are making plans to run for president. So I think you pay attention to some of the names on this list and what they do over the next weeks, months, and next couple of years, how they position themselves during the midterms. All of that is going to feed into whether or not they run for president, their favorability numbers, both at home, in their home state and nationally. That's going to feed into it. But some of these folks, they aren't going to be tested in those numbers. And so to the extent that you can pay attention, sure, take a look at those numbers, see what these folks are doing, but I wouldn't spend too much time on it right now.
Mhm. Right, it does. I Let me know if you think it's fair to say that it kind of is anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, it is anybody's game right now.
Yeah, definitely.